fields now for Brady Rockingham. It's at third. One down, 10-1 lead for Rockingham County. Bottom half the fifth inning, that's a line.
That'll do it.
Way back, left field to the trees for Hudson Deal. Winning run stands at second. Ground ball through the hole. Rounding third is stripped. Heading home, the throw in. No tags. He slides in. The hand touches home plate. Rock solid softball in 2025 is granted. The Cougars cement their legacy. State champions for the first time on the softball diamond in school history, in county history. High breaking ball, high fly ball, deep left field, shading towards center. It is out of here and past the Sam Jones Baseball Complex scoreboard for Bryson Apple. A solo shot, 3-2. Here's the 1-2 from the righty Behe. That is hit hard in the right field. On his horse is Matthews to the fence, to the wall. It's out of here. Oh, no. Judson Freeze, have yourself a day. 2 doubles and a home run. Hello and welcome to the Local Diamond here on RoCo Radio and RoCoRadio.com. Glad to have you along as we talk the big stuff playoffs. It's here, the second season. I welcome in the Hat Man, Jonathan Hatley. He's here with us alongside the kid, no longer the kid, Jay Ramey, as we talk the great sport of baseball and softball. Guys, you ready for this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Well, I think today is an indication of just how strong the softball and baseball is in our area when you break it down and take a closer look at everything as far as the numbers. I just think that breaking it down, you look at the seeds, as we'll take a look at those coming up here in just a bit. Those numbers tell exactly how good our baseball and softball are.
Yeah, we're supposed to have so many home games, hopefully, and maybe even more if, like a 1 seed gets knocked off and one of these McMichael 2 seeds makes it all the way to the Final Four. They could be playing home games then. We could see, we've got 3 seed, 4 seeds. It's just great high-seeded baseball and softball here in Rockingham County.
And then I think we got I'll make the argument, maybe I'm a homer, call me homer, biased, I don't care. It's Rockingham County sports, that's what I do. But I think we might have the best number 10 seed in baseball with the Moorhead Panthers, who play tomorrow in round 1 against Washington. We'll break that down coming up. We'll have that coverage for you as well. Jay Ramey on the call for sure. Hatman might be there. I got a city council meeting. I'd rather be. I love doing the city council, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to be there, but can't be there. And so Jay will bring you that coverage as well as possibly the Hatman propeller. Hatley. We'll bring you the coverage of that game, but let's break it down. Let's take a closer look. We'll start with baseball and the baseball pairings as we bring you those numbers in the classification order, actually in order of basically competition level in our local teams. 19-5 as we start in baseball for McMichael, winners of the regular season in the Mid-State Conference, the 2 seed in the 3A East. The host to winner number 15 South Columbus and number 18 James Keenan in the second round on Friday. On the baseball diamond in the conference tournament, it was the Rockingham County Cougars victorious, winning over McMichael in the championship, 16-6 overall in the year. a number 3 seed in the 5A East, a first round bye. They'll face the winner of number 19 Eastern Alamance and number 14 Havelock in round 2 on Friday. 15-9 Moorhead gets a 10 seed in the 4A East. Could have been more nice RPI. Will host number 23 Washington. 6-18 overall is their record for the Pam Pack. We see the Pam Pack again in round 1. The winner will face number 7 Central Davidson in round number 2. Walkertown in the 3A, 16-6 overall. They'll get the number 7 seed in the West. They'll host the winner of Polk County and Owen in round 2 on Friday. 6-15 Reedsville, the number 18 seed in the 4A East, will travel to number 15 Southwest Onslow, who's 10-10 on the year in the opening round tomorrow. And Bartlett Yancey 7-14 overall, the number 20 seed in the 3A East. They'll travel to face 13 Providence Grove, 12-10 overall in round 1 on Friday. In the Northwest Piedmont 1A, 2A, 7-14 Bethany, the number 10 seed, will travel to take on number 7 River Mill Academy. That's a closer look at baseball, guys. What overall thoughts on the baseball release and where teams landed? We'll start with you, Hatman.
I like our baseball seeds. With McMichael being the 2 seed in the East in 3A, they're going to be at home as long as they keep winning until the state semifinal. I love that, being able to see McMichael at McMichael. It's a great environment there. I grew up there, so I would know. But the fact that they're not going to have to go on the road until the semifinals, and that'll be a 3-game series. So you got a chance to play at home there too. Rockingham County getting the 3 seed, I thought that was well-deserved also. They played a lot of tough competition out of conference and in conference. I honestly think that they're probably a little better than their record reflected. But I think the seeding committee got that one right. I think Moorhead got a little bit underrated at 4A. They're a deceptively good team. Young team. They've got a few more good years ahead of them as well with that young group. And, let's say what we can about Reedsville, too. They get one all-conference player in Connor Martin. He's their ace. He's their leader on the field. And they get a long trip to Southwest Onslow. But 18 versus 15, that's not exactly an upset if they go out there and win.
What do you think, Jay?
One thing I'm wondering is, what round of the playoffs, because this kind of iteration is so new. 48 teams, 8 classifications, and baseball and softball, I think each sport's going to have its own differences and, just odd things in each of it when it comes to brackets. What I'm wondering with baseball and softball, it's okay, what's the round where every team is definitely good? I would say probably the round of 16 is when, every team left is going to be good, but there's going to be some bad teams that make it into round 2. And okay, for example, not saying either of these teams is bad, but McMichael's going to play either South Columbus or James Keenan. Both teams have losing records. I think McMichael's got that in the bag. They've had no trouble putting away, teams with losing records this year. But then again, just the seeding's odd because the RPI is odd. Moorhead kind of makes me a little nervous because they've had some upset losses this year going into the game with Washington. They just have to take it really seriously. Hopefully the BY loss really woke them up to the reality of the playoffs. Anything can happen in 9 innings or in 7 innings in this case. Central Davidson would be a little scary in round 2, but I think they've got what it takes there. Hate that they have to go on the road for that one. Reedsville is going to have a tough test at Southwest Onslow, especially because they have to travel that far. But Southwest Onslow's a 500 team. They're not dominant or anything. But if they won, they would have to face Randleman, who's, 20-4. And then I think Rockingham County will have no problem putting away Havelock or Eastern Alamance, whichever one they face, especially if they're playing at the Sam Jones Baseball Complex.
And on that note about Randleman, I said back during football season when we were looking at possibly somebody facing them, and during basketball season when we did face them, hey, not bad for a baseball school. Randleman is a baseball school.
And Moorhead, if they're fortunate to win at home against Washington, would take on Central Davidson in the same conference. And I believe they split throughout the conference this year. Central Davidson maybe defeated them in the conference tournament and once in the regular season. Not quite 100% sure on that, but for
Central
Southwest,
Davidson's 10-0 at home as well, and we'd be playing on their home field.
But Southwest Onslow, let's take a closer look at them for Reedsville before we get into Moorhead for tomorrow. This is the thing that sticks out to me about Reedsville, right? This is a team of athletes. And whenever you put athletes on any field of play, they have a chance of competing and winning and doing spectacular things. So for a 10-10 Southwest Onslow, they better be ready for Reedsville, is my thought on it. I mean, and it's house money at that point. You're traveling with a bunch of talented athletes that have molded some into baseball players this year with some big wins that people didn't expect. So I definitely think that if it comes to a point where getting a win that people don't expect, that situation crops up for them here in this first round, they are capable of definitely competing and maybe sneaking away a victory, especially with the lefty on the mound if he's able to start in Connor Martin.
Yeah, and they've got some, championship pedigree on their team from those other championship runs. Not saying that would, winning a basketball state title or going to one would definitely help you in baseball, but at least you're not probably as nervous. You know how to handle those emotions a little bit more than you did when you were playing your first football state title or whatnot. But both of these teams are kind of having rough patches right now. Southwest Onslow on a 3-game losing streak. Reedsville's lost 5 of their last 6. I think it's a coin flip.
It'll most likely be Cole Jarman, the senior, getting the start for Southwest Onslow. 42 innings pitched, 41 runs, given up 19 earned, 20 walks to 53 strikeouts, and an ERA sitting right just above 3 at 3.14. So definitely somebody that they can get some contact. All it takes is getting to first base. With the speed on that team, all it takes is getting to first base.
Yeah, and you get the right guy to first base and the right guy behind him, and they're going to score some runs. They got a lot of speed, especially some of the guys that aren't regular players. But, Coach Elrod, he's not shy about pinch running for somebody. Put some speed on the bases, steal second, steal third, put them 90 feet from scoring after 2 pitches. He is not shy about that at all. He knows how to manufacture runs. He's a good baseball mind. And he's got guys that got speed and they've got ability. I'm sure he would rather their hitting and their pitching be a little bit better, but what coach wouldn't? You can have your entire team hitting 900. You want 1,000.
That's right.
Southwest Onslow's, I'm looking at their offensive stats. They kind of look like high school football completion percentages. A little scary.
Oh, that's not good.
They got Huffman at 580. Escalera, how do I pronounce that? 493. Jarman, 490. Everybody else below 400, but still, just those 3. Goodness gracious.
And you have to take into account competition level too. I mean, look at the conference and the non-conference schedule that Reedsville had to compete in.
Yes.
I don't know what Southwest Onslow's conference looks like, but I'll guarantee you they're not on the mid-states level.
Yeah, I have no clue what their conference looks like. I mean, we can check East Duplin, Pender, Heidi Trask. These are just names to me, guys. I have no clue what baseball. Hyde Trask?
Yes.
Yeah, Hyde Trask.
Oh.
Heidi doesn't play in this state.
Hyde Trask.
Hyde Trask, yep.
They're gonna need to change that. Well, anyways, I have no clue what the baseball is like down at the beach.
So Southwest Onslow will be the opponent for the Reedsville Rams. They'll travel tomorrow to take on that squad. We wish them all the best. We know they can pull it off. So we look forward to seeing what they do at Southwest Onslow. Let's move on to tomorrow's game on the baseball diamond for the number 10 seed Moorhead Panthers. They'll host 6-18 Washington. As we mentioned, the number 10 seed a little bit low for my liking, whatever their RPI says, because this is a team that has been tested and battle tested. They've played some of the best teams in the state, just outside of their mid-state conference record, with some strong games. Northern Guilford, Southern Guilford in the playoffs as well. Williams and Trinity, those are powerhouses typically. So you look at what they've done outside of the conference, we know they're battle tested. But here's the thing I do like about this. This is the chance to build things at home, moving on to the next round against Central Davidson. With the pitching staff that they have, the depth that they have at that position, especially at the top with Silvers and Grogan, if you can get one of those guys tomorrow to get a long start and you get Silvers fresh on Friday, and Silvers or Grogan, and if Grogan keeps a pitch count at a certain level, or Silvers, vice versa, you get both of them for Friday against Central Davidson. When they move on because they get the bye, I mean.
And you get 3-day breaks. I mean, at the end of the year, it's basically every day you're playing. But, yeah, you get long breaks. They could play their best pitchers twice before we get to the round of 3 series.
That's huge, I think. I don't think Central Davidson would be ready for a team if they excel at their highest point, if they max out on what they can do and what they're capable of. I don't think Central Davidson's ready for a team like that in the second round.
The thing about playoffs is having 3 days in between, with the rest rules, you can absolutely pitch by committee. You hate to take the ball out of the kid that's got the hot hand, though. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you got a kid who's got a great start, and you're thinking ahead, and it's like, hey, maybe I want to save him. But you hate to take the ball out of his hand to hand it to somebody else. When I was helping coach back when my brother was playing, we pitched by committee. Everybody was going to go 2 innings. We were playing 6-inning games. We were going to go with 3 pitchers, 2 innings apiece. That was just how we set it up from day one. And we hadn't seen that. The only time that we've seen a pitcher really go short outings like that was either because of their performance wasn't there. They just need to get out of the situation.
You look at you got the Bulldog Ben Wade. If he goes tomorrow, then he goes to a pretty well distance against Washington, then you've set up automatically health-wise for Grogan and Silvers to pitch in game number 2 on Friday, or vice versa. One of them, whatever the situation is, you have options, is my point.
But you also can't, pencil in wins. Like, it's not like this is the middle of March and you can say, okay, Tuesday we're going to pitch this guy, Friday we're going to pitch this guy. It's Tuesday we're going to pitch this guy so that we can pitch this guy Friday, because we don't want to be on the couch this Friday.
Yep, and the thing I always like to say, I ain't deciding who's on the couch. I'm not smart enough to do that. I praise these coaches that make these tough decisions and that step up into the positions to make their team successful. And boy, do we have a group of those guys to be able to do that on the baseball side, and on the softball diamond, we've got that opportunity as well. But looking at the pitching staff overall for Moorhead, a 3.28 ERA, 15 wins on the year in 25 appearances, 156 innings pitched, just 73 earned runs given up, and 228 strikeouts on the season. I mean, the pitching
feels like
staff
there's no bad
up.
options to go with. Like, you could put any guy on the mound and be like, yeah, he can do it.
So we'll see how that ends up for the Moorhead Panthers. Jay Ramey is going to be on that call. He'll bring you that coverage coming up as well on Tuesday. We look forward to that.
David Steps will be the color commentator if Hatley's not there. I'm kidding.
What are you going to do?
I'm kidding.
What will you do?
If Steps was the color commentator, I would probably just go home, pack my bags.
Don't do that. Don't pack your bags. Sorry, I'm trying to find the the proper layout here, guys.
A mystery color commentator would be fun. Like,
well, another factor
whoever gets to the game first.
Another factor for Moorhead, they made an early exit in the conference tournament. They're going to come out hungry. I think those boys are ticked off. They lost a game that they honestly shouldn't have lost. And that's the type of thing that lights a fire in you. And they're going to come out against Washington. They're going to come out hungry. They're going to come out ready to put the bat on the ball. And, they've got 3 for sure pitchers that could shut down any team when they're on.
I'm trying to find the right
This
button.
looks great.
I keep hitting the wrong button. Let's just play roulette.
Go
with
back.
it
That
for
was
a
good.
second. This one right here. You want this one right here? There we go.
Let's do it.
Now we take a closer look
I
at the
think we look
nostrils
great.
of Jay Ramey in the center, and on the right side we look at the mustache of Hatman.
I think we're doing great.
It's the
I think it
bald
looks great.
head right here.
Y'all used to do for football, y'all would be on like the video. We could do it, but like the side by side. One camera on me, one camera on Hatley. Put us in the boxes, like around the horn. I think people would love that.
What do you think would happen?
Viewership would skyrocket.
Oh, we got to go to the comments here in just a second as I fix the outlay. Just bear with me here, folks. Technical stuff.
Hadley, we need a full time. You should sing.
We'd have no viewers left.
Oh.
0.
I mean, there we go. I figured it out. I was hitting the wrong buttons.
Hadley promised me last year that he would beatbox on air if Rockingham County softball won the title, and then they did, and then he did not go through with it.
In order for Coach Steps to do color commentary, he says, first you would have to get me a hot dog with chili, hold the onions, maybe a little bit of the mustard, maybe a
I'm
little
not giving him a hot dog to go on air with me. I don't want him on air.
Jay would really start to back it up in that
I'd be
situation.
gone. I would be gone.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be, we can make that happen. I mean,
Please no.
okay, we won't make it happen. All right. Coach has got more important things to do than talk.
They got to eat hot dogs too, I guess. I don't know. Is that what
Jay,
you're saying?
what's one thing you're looking forward to tomorrow on your broadcast? One thing you're looking forward to seeing from Moorhead in round 1?
I'm hoping they put a whole lot of offense on the board. I think if they could just punch them in the mouth early, get a couple of hits going, because at BY they kind of struggled, or in the BY game, they struggled to get any offense going. I think like 4 guys got hits. I want to see everybody in the lineup. They're all capable of it. I want to see them getting on base, scoring, and obviously I want whoever's pitching to do a fantastic job. But I really want them to get out ahead early.
For the right amount of dollars, we will put together a RoCo Radio Christmas album. We will even connect remotely
Let's do
with
it.
Jay Ramey from his future destination, and we will make, like the Philadelphia Eagles,
The
a
RoCo
Christmas
Radio
album.
Christmas album.
Yep.
I feel like Woodsy would ruin it.
I feel like Woodsy would take the assignment seriously. For Moorhead, I'm looking forward to that top of the order and what they do to set the table. Those guys have to be exactly on, and I think they will. But you got Jacob Sands with his 31 RBIs leading the Mid-State Conference. Zach Grogan, the Mid-State Conference Player of the Year, 27 RBIs on 30 hits, hitting .435 on the season. And then at the top, my favorite hitter maybe to watch in Judson Freeze, just because of how he approaches the plate. Every time he's at the plate, he's waiting for his pitch, and he's not letting the pitches dictate his at-bat. I have not seen an at-bat where he let the pitcher dictate the tone of the at-bat, which is hard to do as a hitter, and he does it every time. So
Especially in high school.
I really look forward to seeing what those guys can do at the top alongside Ben Wade in that 2 spot as well this season. And the mixture of the order for Moorhead too, and we've talked about this on our broadcast, when you go and you have a situation where you can go left, left, right, left, or you can go left, right, left, right. You can set it up however you want to based off of who you're facing or based off of what's in front of you. That is a huge thing that you can do, not only to set the tone against a starting pitcher or a team that you're facing. Down the stretch, it might force the hand of a pitching change against you when maybe a manager or a coach didn't want to make that change because they had a good pitcher, but he's looking at the lefty versus righty. And I know as fans, we probably look at the lefty versus righty way more than coaches do, but still in a situation where the season is on the line, whether it's on Tuesday, Friday, whenever it is down the road, that's a huge advantage to have that not every team at the high school level has at the top of the order.
I think the key
Moorhead
is to make
they've got the greatest mix of lefties and righties in the conference. They've got a mix through the lineup. A lot of the teams, they've only got one or two left-handed hitters. And Moorhead's got three in the top four of their order. And a lot of pitchers, they have issues throwing the left-hand hitters because you don't see them as much.
Just got to make them feel uncomfortable. They're 1-10 on the road. They might just not like leaving.
Lefties are always right.
Oh, my gosh.
When y'all going to learn?
He broadcasts left-handed. They don't know this. I have to, fix the equipment when I broadcast with him. It's a nightmare. I don't know. It doesn't even make any sense.
I gotta have the microphone on the left side, or I cannot operate.
He talks left-handed, guys.
And I talk on the left side too. Here comes a pitch. No.
Out of nowhere.
I have to sit on the left side of the table when we're broadcasting. I cannot sit on the right side. Unfortunately, Propeller Hatley has felt that throughout this season. But he bounces back because he's a ball player. And I don't bounce back. I'm one of those guys you scratch in the lineup once every 5 days because you have to, because I'm left-handed. But Hatley's a ball player. He figures it out.
What is happening?
He works through it. He works through it.
Okay. Hey, Moorhead has to just do something off the wall because, Washington's 5-7 at home, and then they're 1-11 otherwise. I don't know. Just do something crazy to the field. They're obviously not comfortable when they're not at Washington.
Just handle business. That's what you do.
Maybe.
Just handle business in round one. That's what you do.
They will.
They've outscored opponents 193-107. And you look at the schedule and you look at what they've done. They're battle tested in close games. They've been in so many of them this year. Outside, you come from that 4-0 record at the beach, and then you play Rockingham County. Rockingham County is a top 5 seed in the 5A. And they played them close in both games. They won game 2. They darn near won game number 1. So that's battle tested. They took it to 9 innings in game 1 against McMichael, who's the number 2 seed in the 3A East. So we can talk about number 7 this, number 8 that they'll be facing if they win on Tuesday. The fact is, they're battle tested for anybody that's put in front of them. I feel like, me personally, that they will give a run to anybody they face in any game as long as they have the pitching to back it up and the pitching isn't overused in a certain round. In that point, they can compete. And that's what I love about that team. They compete inside and out every single game. They might not win it. They might go on a 3-game losing streak like they are now. They might lose to Bartlett Yancey. Who cares? They compete in games against teams that are at the top level, and that means that's the game of baseball. Hatley and I've talked about that so much. I think people forget when you look at, and softball is the same way to an extent, but when you look at football or basketball, you see a lot of 23-1s and 22-2s, and baseball, you see a lot of 17-5s and 15-9s, and you're going to lose in baseball. That's just the name of the game. So I look forward to seeing what they do, and I'm going to be listening to Jay. I'm going to have my headphones on in my ears as I switch cameras between council members
I mean, you got to think, if
I'll give you
you
a shout out.
divide it down to a high school schedule, the best teams in the MLB are 10-6.
Yeah. Until they lose Tarek Skubal. Then it's all over.
Hey, at least you don't have a 13-game losing streak on the season.
That's true. What's going on, Lee? Glad to see you in the comments. Glad to see you all in the comments. Thanks for joining us here for the Local Diamond. We're previewing the softball and baseball playoffs, the opening round. Just one game in baseball in the opening round here locally, I believe, because I think the 1A is not going to play their first game until Friday. If you know, let us know in the comments. Yankees, Lee, come on, man. We ain't talking the Yankees in here. So let us know in the comments. But the only team, the two teams actually in the first round, the only team locally here in our area competing at home will be the Moorhead Panthers, the number 10 seed, as they'll take on Washington, who's 6-18, the number 23 seed. Our Reedsville Rams will travel on the road to take on Southwest Onslow. That game will be taking place tomorrow as well. So we'll bring you the coverage of Moorhead from Tommy Woods Field. Jay Ramey has the call for you on RoCo Radio, RoCoRadio.com. Let us know in the comments what you think about that game and what you want to see from your Moorhead Panthers. Let's move on to the 3A. We'll start in the 3A East. The number 2 seed, McMichael Phoenix. When you break it down and look at what they are going to be facing, they're the number 2 seed. They'll host the winner of number 15 South Columbus and number 18 James Keenan in round number 2. I'm guessing that there's going to be some McMichael folks that are at that game tomorrow.
I mean, I'd definitely go scout it out. If I'm on that staff or if I've got the opportunity to go and watch these two teams play each other and get a live look at what I'm going to be facing, I'm absolutely doing it. I did it as a coach when I was coaching soccer at the high school level. We were slated to face Glenn when I was coaching at McMichael. And me and the head coach went to Glenn a couple of days before because we had an open day. And we went and watched Glenn. And I'll tell you, Glenn at that point was a powerhouse in soccer. I can't remember how bad they beat us, but we hung in with them decent for about a half. But when you get the opportunity to go and watch a live game and see your competition, it's always helpful to kind of know what you're going to be facing.
I think it's 3 hours away, right?
Yeah. South Columbus, 9-12 on the year. James Keenan doesn't even have a logo on Max Preps. They're 6-9. So yeah, I think we'll see what happens in that game, but it's a weird situation with this second round and how it's set up where I don't know how. We've seen how it's played out in basketball, and I think it's fine. Football, I think it's fine, but momentum-wise, baseball and softball are such momentum games that it makes you wonder how this first round bye situation for the top 8 seeds is going to play out throughout the tournament in all the classifications.
We saw in softball last year with Rockingham getting all the way to the state championship. It's about getting hot at the right time. Rockingham County has definitely done that, winning the conference tournament. McMichael's on that huge win streak, and then Nick Rumley had the game of his life against them in the conference championship game, and they just couldn't get anything done. I think they're going to come out in that second round. They'll have some more practices, some opportunities to correct some things. We know Coach Erskine's a great baseball coach of the year in the conference. And whichever one of those teams advances on to play, and they're going to be ready for it.
Yeah, McMichael's won 5 of the last 6. Their only loss, that 5-0 loss in the Mid-State Conference Tournament final. Before that, a 4-1 win over Walkertown, where Eli Gann, the pitcher of the year in the conference, had one heck of a performance. 15 straight, sat down to end the game with 6 strikeouts, 5 looking. only went to a 3-ball count one time in that semifinal game. That's a performance that when you have a guy like Eli Gann, whether it's the second round, third round, fourth round, wherever you end up, if you can have Eli Gann starting that game, it's a tone setter in the fact that we look at baseball, at least from the MLB perspective. Oh my God, he throws 85 now. He throws 91, 92. Oh no, JV's touching 95. He's about done. Justin Verlander's now. Eli Gann is painting corners like he's paid by a construction company to paint houses. Like this guy is working his stuff at the high school level. That is a rare art form, let alone at the higher levels now. And to see what he can do in any game, he definitely gives him an advantage if he's starting that game. And I love watching him pitch because of it. It's like we talk about it all the time in our comparison to him as Greg Maddux. And we're not saying he's Greg Maddux. Nobody's Greg Maddux, but it's the same idea. If you have a pitcher at the high school level that is smart enough to locate and use situational pitching over I'll take that over stuff every time out.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got good command at the high school level, you can beat a lot of teams. You find the hole in the swing and you throw to it and you mix up your stuff. You don't have to be able to throw 95 miles an hour to win games in high school. I don't even think you need to be able to throw 95 miles an hour to win games in college, but that's kind of what they're looking at nowadays. They don't care as much about the command and the placement and the stuff as they do the velocity. It's become a velocity game at the scouting level.
Why is
and I
that?
think that's tragic.
Why is that?
They figure that a guy who's got great arm strength can be taught command versus the guy who knows command but doesn't have the velocity. It's easier to teach command than velocity in their eyes.
What about your eyes? You disagree?
You give me a team full of Greg Madduxes over a team full of Nolan Ryan's. I mean, I love Nolan Ryan. I think he's one of the greatest ever. But he was all about burning guys down, and he mixed in a breaking ball. And, he was a power pitcher. I loved watching a guy like Greg Maddux work because he beats you with his mind and not with his arm.
Give me Greg Maddux type. Give me command. Give me the Professor Kyle Hendricks for innings 1 through 5 at the high school level. And give me Nolan Ryan, Justin Verlander, Jacob deGrom, et cetera, in the 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th. That's how you need a balance of both. But my point is the command is something you absolutely need. If you have a guy that has stuff, if you have big Nick Rumley, 6'6", running out there, of course you're going to take that, or Bryson Apple at 6'3", throwing 93. But also there is a spot in this game for command and for that, and I will take both. I don't think, and I think we're seeing the trend at the higher level move back a little bit. You're seeing guys that throw 93 on a regular basis make rotations, but also you're seeing at a level, which we talked about during our game broadcast, that there were, I think, 5 kids this year across high school that threw over 100 miles an hour. Like, I want that kid throwing 100 miles an hour in Major League Baseball someday, but did they really need to be throwing 100 miles an hour?
Yeah, wouldn't that be kind of bad for you at this age?
Well, in today's day and age, it really isn't, because the best thing to happen to you is to get Tommy John surgery. If you want a long career, the best thing for it to happen is for you to get that Tommy John surgery and then have that under your belt and make those ligaments stronger so you can keep throwing harder, because that is the direction that everything's gone, and that is where everything is. I mean, if you're in a bullpen today and you're not throwing 93 to 95 consistently and you're not peaking at 96, you might as well head back to AAA. I mean, it's just the name of the game right now. But I think that's going to change a little bit. We'll see some guys make their mark, and people will start to realize that But then again, Greg Maddox, the athlete, is not the athlete of we're seeing on the Tarek Skubals of today or the Paul Skeens. We had one Paul Skeens in Major League Baseball in the 90s. It was Nolan Ryan. We had one freak athlete really on the mound. You had a couple of them, but now everybody's a freak athlete throwing 60 feet 6 inches back to home plate. I mean, it's a different world. It really is. Sorry about that rant about baseball and Major League level.
It's great.
But when you have a guy like Eli, to get back to the point in McMichael baseball, and you have a defense behind him, you look at the outfield defensively, the strongest all-around outfield, I would say defensively, alongside Rockingham County that we have in the county. Just defensively, they get the job done with strong arms out there. That's huge in case Gann does get into trouble. And we can talk about command all day, but it's the situational pitching for Gann. And what I mean by that is if there's a runner on second and third and one down, there's a good chance Eli Gann's getting out of that situation. You can't say that for many pitchers, whether it's in Rockingham County or whether it's in New York City. I mean, that's something that's impressive, especially in a pitch by pitch moment, which the playoffs become. Every pitch matters, and to be able to control every pitch, I think that's going to be a huge thing for McMichael, the number 2 seed. And offensively, Hatley, they've got a 1 through 9 lineup that is consistent enough to carry that pitching.
Oh, definitely. From the top to the bottom of the order, guys can be a little streaky, but they hit well in situations for the most part. Especially 1 through 4. You got a leadoff hitter that's got the school record for hits. And then you go all the way down to 9, and you got Colin Mitchell, who hits close to 400 as a 9 hitter. I mean, a lot of teams, they're hiding some guy at 9 that hits 250, and they're just trying to get back to the top.
Why are you calling me out? Hey, I'm 5'6", left-handed, number 9 hitter, just trying to get it on there. But that's not Colin Mitchell, to your point, an all-conference player.
Right. I mean, they had 6 all-conference players in this McMichael lineup. Pitcher, second baseman, catcher, outfielders, third baseman. They're solid at basically every position defensively, and they've got 9 guys throughout the lineup that can get base hits.
I think too, and that's key in a playoff environment because like the every pitch matters moment, it even starts in that second round. That first game they're going to play, there are going to be situations where they have to score a run. There's going to be situations where they have to stop the other team from scoring at that level. There's no gimmies in the playoffs in the second round, despite records. And I think when you have a team completely like that can get through the order in situations and all step up. I mean, you look at 1 through 5 for them, and they've all had key moments in games offensively where they've passed the torch, or they've been the torch bearer, but maybe they even set the torch on fire. I mean, you from Dax at the top and Easton at the top all the way to Eli Gann, who's probably goes underrated as one of the more clutch hitters in our county at the 5 spot. And we know what Raking Jack Rogers does in the 4 spot and Grayson Shelton in the 3 spot, but they have that. They have that ability. You're down 3 in the second inning. We got to claw back. What do? We string things together. And they have the order to be able to do that. And like you said, not many high school teams have that ability. It's what makes them the number 2 seed, in my opinion, in the 3A East is that, and they built that RPI. They went and they beat Surrey Central, the number 6 team in RPI at the time when they beat them in the 3A. They went out there and beat everybody in conference outside of Walkertown one time in the regular season, and they got themselves to the championship matchup in the conference tournament. So they've earned the spot where they are. And I think, I don't care what the records say, I believe they're 9-2 at home this year and 10-1 on the road. But having Mike Dalton Field as a backdrop for a playoff game every time with that environment. I know it doesn't play into the final score, but it plays into getting to the final score. And a comfortable baseball team is a dangerous baseball team.
Man, I'm just imagining how much fun that environment will be if I get to commentate one of those games. Goodness.
Yeah,
I mean, Coach Erskine's built a team that are creatures of habit because he is one. They've got their routine. It's posted up in the dugout every day. They maintain the same routine, and the less things that you change, the more comfortable you are. And he's built that.
This is a team, by the way, too, speaking back to pitching and beyond Eli Gann, that's given up just 90 runs all year. Just 90 runs all season. And when you look at the conference numbers, they only gave up 39 runs against conference opponents this season. That's by Rockingham County's the only one that did better than them at 29 runs against. But to outscore opponents 118-39 in conference play, yeah, that's a big testament to what they've done all year, and 237-90 in all of their competition this year. So I look forward to seeing what they do and how they match up in round number 2 on Friday. We know that place is going to be crazy. Any final thoughts on round 2, McMichael, and what you're looking for from the team? I'll go to Jay first.
I honestly just think they just got to do what they do. Like, I do not have any fear in my mind. If I had to pick one of our county teams that I would guarantee a spot in the third round for, it would be McMichael. I don't think there's any upset alert here, really.
Hatman?
They're as susceptible as anyone to having a wheel run off. We saw it a few games this year, but it's all about being hot at the right time. They faced an absolute buzzsaw in Nick Rumley in their last game, and just couldn't get enough done to get a win. And that's the game of baseball. They're going to bounce back from that. They're going to perform well next Friday. And I think they come out of that one with a win. They're well coached, and they do it without having basically any power hitting. I don't know what the team home run totals are on the year. I think they had maybe 3 or 4 for the whole team. So it's not like they're going to go out there and they're going to pump balls out of Mike Dalton Field. They're going to play small ball. They're going to get the job done. And small ball is a lot more reliable than relying on power.
Truth. I agree with that 100%. Let's shift to the 5A in Rockingham County when we take a look at what they bring to the table overall. Again, another top 5 seed for us in our local community. The number 3 seed in the 5A East. They'll have a first round bye. They'll face the winner of number 19 Eastern Alamance and number 14 Havelock. This is a team that has won 7 of their last 8 games. They've won 5 straight. They've won close games. They've blown out teams. They've done what they've had to do in moments since that 8-4 loss to Moorhead to excel offensively and excel defensively and on the mound. You look at how they competed, the 5-0 win over McMichael in the conference championship game. Big Nick Rumley on senior night against Walkertown, going against one of the better pitchers in our community in Owen Tidd for Walkertown, and outduels him. I mean, you look at pitching staff alone in Bryson Apple, Hudson Deal, and Nick Rumley will all 3 be available on Friday in that matchup in round 2. It don't get better than that. And there's a reason they're a top 3 seed in the 5A because of the way they've competed all year. 7-3 in the conference, 16-6 overall.
Rockingham County is an extremely rare in high school combination. They've got great pitching. They're good defensively, and they've got great hitting. They can hit for power, and they can play small ball. When you've got your 3 and 4 hitters as Bryson Apple and Hudson Deal, and you know that they're susceptible at any moment they step up to the plate, they can make one leave the yard. You got power pitching in Apple and Rumley, and Deal I'd call him more of their finesse pitcher as far as the upperclassmen go, and he's still touching way up in the 80s. And they've added Chase Holcomb in the mix, and he's done great down the stretch as a young pitcher. He's a little bit more of a control and command guy, but they've got a pitching staff that's ready to play in any situation. They can go any of four ways easily. Their 1 through 5 hitters are absolute killers with speed and can hit for average, can hit for power. And then, look at what happened in the conference tournament. You got Alex Page steps up. He's hitting like 150 for the season. And he goes out there, those 2 games they played in the conference tournament, and just absolutely goes insane. They're getting hot at the right time.
I would say that if you win the Mid-State Conference in baseball, you should just automatically get a 1 seed, no matter what bracket you're in, and no matter what, just automatic 1 seed. Go back to, I don't know, what was the system in like the 80s in football? Probably more recent, but I remember looking at like really old baseball or football brackets, and it was like the 1 seed of this conference plays the 3 seed of that. They should do that here, but for the Mid-State. Rockingham County is a very decorated team just in winning the Mid-State Conference. I think it's going to be about their pitching that leads the way. We could talk about the numbers all day, but obviously Nick Rumbley, Bryson Apple, Hudson Deal, insane numbers. Nick Rumbley, 1.92 ERA, 4-0 this season. A 2.87 ERA for Bryson Apple, he's 4-1. And Hudson Deal, 1.43 with a 3-1 record. All of their numbers are just ridiculous up and down the chart. I think those could be the guys carrying them to the potential championship run.
The good thing is they get to play at Sam Jones Baseball Complex, where they love to play. 10-3 on the year this year at home. They've given up just 64 runs in total against the tough conference schedule and non-conference schedule that they faced. They've faced Eastern Alamance earlier this year, who they could face in round number 2, a 10-4 win against Eastern Alamance. But for me, breaking it down, when you give up just less than 3 runs per game against teams that they face that are pretty talented, and we know the conference teams, but you throw in Eastern Alamance, a playoff team, you throw in Wesley and Christian, you throw in Corvian, you throw in some of the other non-conference games that they played, and that's a pretty impressive number. And when it comes down to numbers in the playoffs, pitching numbers matter the most, because you can cool down a hitter, I feel like, much easier than you can cool down a pitcher. Maybe I'm wrong, but when you've got horses in the pen, you can make things happen. Just like when you're at the farm, you got horses in the pen, you can make things happen at the farm. You can make it happen in playoff baseball.
And look at the teams that beat Rockingham at Sam Jones. You got Moorhead, you got McMichael, and you got Wesley and Christian. You're talking 3 top 10 teams in their respective divisions. And Wesley and Christian, one of the best teams in the state. That was an amazing baseball team. I didn't get to see that game live. I had to listen to your call of it. But, the competition that did beat them at Sam Jones was great competition. And, I don't see a 14 seed or I wrote it down. Alamance Havelock. I don't see a 14 seed or a 19 seed coming into Sam Jones and being able to handle that.
One thing, though, looking at Rockingham County's schedule, it just does make me a little nervous about the playoffs, because it's baseball. Like, we've talked about it on here. Anything can happen. Like, you go back, okay, they lose 6-5 to Northern Guilford. They easily could have won that. Kind of a flip of the coin thing. They beat Moorhead in 10 innings, 5-3. That's sort of a coin flip thing as well. Then Vandalia Christian, we'll throw that out. They lose to Moorhead 8-4, which just shows like, okay, a couple of days can change how a baseball game goes. One player that skips his lucky ritual, or one player that doesn't wear the right socks. I mean, that can determine the outcome of the game. And then, the BY games, not counting those, they beat Walkertown 1-0 on 4 hits that game, I think. And then they beat McMichael 5-0. There's just so many things that can go wrong, but so many things that have to go right in a playoff. I'm not trying to cast doubt on any of our teams going far. It's an argument for why some of them could go far, just because some of this is a roll of the dice. But baseball is a weird sport, and I remember when I was first getting into baseball, my friend was like, the worst team in the league could beat the best team in the league 6 times in a row, and nobody would blink. Like, that's just how baseball is.
Yeah, I think those games, though, and what matters is the close games, not even the record, right? The close games, the 6-5 game against Northern Guilford. Rockingham County is in a situation where they have learned from that game and they know what they have to do in order to win. They've been in the situation to understand it. That's a big part of playoff baseball. I think a lot of these teams come into the situation. They've not been into a situation where it's a close game against a very good team. And that's going to happen down the road. And I think the talent or the schedule built up in the way that the game's played out for them. You look at the 6-4 game against Western Alamance, the 6-5 game against Northern Guilford, 5-3 win in extras over Moorhead. The game was close against Moorhead. The one that they lost situationally, it was something I think pitching-wise that they couldn't control necessarily, though Moorhead did the job early, but they didn't have a chance to crawl back in there. So it's and then you get one hit McMichael in the conference tournament final.
We saw the flip side of that coin last year out of the Rockingham County Cougars. They were playing a weak conference schedule. That 3A conference last year, aside from Rockingham County, sucked.
Yeah.
They were terrible. And Rockingham County had gone 12, 15 games since they had played a decent opponent.
And I think we forget because it's like, rosy retrospect. It was not a no-doubter that Rockingham softball was going to win. Like, I remember, while we were doing those games at Wentworth, it feels like I spent half of the entire year of 2025 at Rockingham County softball field. But I mean, it was not like a no-brainer that they were going to win the title. There were so many things that had to go right in that. And, hopefully that
I was talking to their baseball team. I was talking to the baseball team. They got put out second round of the playoffs last year, but they dominated the conference.
Well, no, but I'm just making the point that there's so many things that can go wrong that or have to go right for one of these teams to make it far. Not saying that it won't happen, but I'm just saying we've got to really remind ourselves that last year's Rockingham County softball title was not some inevitable thing. Like, the state quarterfinals, we're sitting on pins and needles because we have no clue if they're going to even be going to Crest. Like, it's just how it goes.
Yep. To Hatley's point, I get where he's coming from, though. I think this team is in a better position at their record than the team last year that went 24-3 and outscored opponents 354-68. It's based solely on the competition at hand. I mean, you look at, to Hatley's point last year, it was a Dudley Atkins team, Ben L. Smith, Northeast Guilford squads. They played those games back to back after a competitive game against Reedsville, but they enter the playoffs in that situation, and now they know close games. They know the situation. I think as a coach, as a team, you rather be in the situation you are this year for Rockingham County versus last year. And again, the strength of schedule plays a big role in it. And again, the situation in which you can schedule better non-conference games plays a role in it, because you couldn't do that last year because you had to play in your non-conference our local county opponents, and that's no shade against them in the RPI. That's the only reason the RPI was good last year for Rockingham County. It's the fact that they couldn't schedule any other games outside of that for non-conference. And so this definitely helped this year, and I think that will play a big role down the line. Well, you guys want to talk some softball?
Yep.
Let's do it. Softball pairings. The number 2 team in the 3A East, 19-4 for the McMichael Phoenix. It's a first-round bye. They'll face the winner of Goldsboro and Princeton in round 2 on Friday at home. Rockingham County, 14-4 on a surge at the end of the year. 4 seed in the 5A East. They'll get a first-round bye. They'll face the winner of Southern Guilford, a former conference foe, and St. Paul's on Friday in round 2. Number 7 seed in the 3A West, 19-7 Walkertown, a first-round bye. They'll face the winner of number 10 Bessemer City and number 23 Patton. That will take place on Friday as well. Moorhead is 6-10 overall, the number 15 seed in the 4A East. They will host Fairmont tomorrow, 9-13 overall for their record in round number 1. 2-12 Bartlett Yancey, the number 22 seed in the 3A East. They'll face number 11 Aiden Grifton on the road, who's 12-9 on the season tomorrow. And in the Northwest Piedmont 1A, 2A, 15-5 for Bethany, a great season. Number 6 seed in the 1A West, a round 1 bye. They'll host Hawassi Dam, 6-10 overall on the year. A great team for Bethany that we got to cover a couple times this year with Peyton Weevil inside the circle and several good players, including Sutherland, on the field. So we look forward to seeing what they do. But let's start at the top with the 3A East and break it down with the McMichael Phoenix. The bomb squad has seen a surgence in the middle of the order. I know that's hard to say. A surgence in the middle of the order after last year. But Lindsay Redmond in the 4 spot, really picking things up. Ava Harris, the doubles queen in Rockingham County, more doubles than anybody else in the county this season, in that 2 spot throughout the year. And they've been able to mix and match with Cora Engel as well. Obviously, this is a team to definitely watch in the 3A, and that might be an understatement.
And I know that mid-state title loss to Rockingham County is probably going to serve as some real motivation to prove themselves. And also the sting of last year's loss to West Wilkes. They've got some painful losses on their mind coming into this, and they're obviously going to try to avoid another painful loss. I think they've got plenty of motivation and plenty of talent to move forward and try to get a ring.
They'll be right in that mix, and you look at the 3A, they're one of the top teams up there. But I think what the seeding reminds you and puts a realization, because we live here, we've covered these athletes now for 3 years on the softball and baseball diamond. It's our 2nd year, but you kind of forget when it's your home backyard and you're at that field often, just how talented the situation is. So you look back at that 2-1 win at McMichael for Rockingham County. That should be a candidate for one of the best softball games of the year in the state. But you don't think about it at the time, but it also showcases with these seedings, and we'll get to Rockingham County here in just a bit, the number 4 seed, but it tells you just how good the softball is. This isn't just a baseball county, it's a softball county with so much good talent. And with this McMichael squad, I think one thing that we talk about, but maybe not enough, is I wouldn't want to say improvement, but just the acing her pitching in Lindsay Redmond and what she's done inside the circle this year compared to last year, the pitcher of the year in the conference. It's a difference between close games and not close games. Sometimes the pitching inside the circle is a whole different animal than baseball, which I understand way better. But what I do understand is she lets her defense work behind her. She uses her pitches to her advantage to let the defense make good plays. She induces weak contact when there is contact, and she piles up the strikeouts when need be with the rise ball, using the drop change, using whatever she needs to do to mix it up. That has been a big difference for this team this year, even though she was great last year.
I'll call it improvement. Her command has improved. Her velocity has gone up. And she's added that drop change really into her repertoire of pitches. She threw it kind of sparingly last year, but it's really become an out pitch with 2 strikes for her. And she has improved in every aspect of pitching. Pitcher of the year for the Mid-State Conference. And Lindsay Redmond she's got the job done in the circle. She's got the job done with the bat. And this the bomb squad's lagging a little bit behind what they were last year, but they've still found ways to win. There's a lot of teams that called on Nicole Engel and they're pitching around her. I mean, not intentionally walking her, but they won't give her anything to hit, which is smart. Don't put it out over the plate to Corey Engel. Yeah, if you got a death wish,
don't
put it out over the plate to her.
Don't put
and
it.
And then Ava Harris has really stepped up, pounding base hits and extra base hits all season. She's really stepped up in that 2 spot to set the table for Cora and Lindsay. Their defense has been solid throughout the season. But they came off of 2 of their losses to Rockingham County in the conference championship and in their last regular season game. And Ava Grace Pruitt just was doing Ava Grace Pruitt things.
Lindsay Redmond has given up 2 total hits, extra base hits this year. So
2.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
Hatley. 2 extra base hits.
2 extra base hits in softball. 2
I guess it was the 2 home runs to Rockingham.
Yep.
Dang, we called that.
Yeah, we did.
We've called every extra base hit. So Lindsay Redmond has thrown, and we've called like 3 games.
To go as a sophomore with a 2.95 ERA and 16-3, 24 appearances overall, to go from that with 142 strikeouts to a 1.34 ERA and a 15-0 record, 115 innings pitched. So she's at less innings than last year, already has 161 strikeouts. That's 19 more, if my math's correct, which 142 to 161. She's only walked 18 hitters all year. And that's a big difference maker in high school softball and baseball alike, is if you limit the walks. I mean, any run of baseball, whether it's little league or the major leagues, you limit the walks, it reduces the chances of runs scoring. It's that simple.
Yeah, don't give up 3 base runners, and you don't usually give up 3 runs.
I mean, so to your point, it is an improvement. She did so well last year at 16-3 to 2.95 to go from that to 15-0 to 1.34. Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's big improvement. What does the offense have to do to continue to string things together in the playoffs? What are you looking for from this lineup, and what have they done well, in your opinion?
I mean, they've had games where top to bottom in the lineup, they've all hit. They've been known throughout the season as a pretty good hitting team. They've got some young ladies that can definitely hit for power. With the bomb squad, they've added Ava Harris into the mix, who's leading the county in doubles. And, even lower in the order, the 2 Wilsons are both solid hitters. And, you get down to the bottom of the order. Mac Johnson can get on, but she'll find a way to get on base. I'm just throwing names out there, but, this team, when they're on, they hit the ball extremely well.
I would say that, having 4 players who have appeared in every game, it's not a small sample size thing. 4 players who have appeared in every game that are batting over 500. You just got to, that's got to scare the crap out of opposing coaches. Like, it's got to be terrifying. But one thing you notice, I think it really comes down to just getting hits on the ball. So their 4 lowest hitting games are their 4 losses. They had 3 hits in their loss against South Stanley. They had 4 hits in their loss against Crest, 4 hits in their loss against Rockingham County, and 4 hits in their other loss against Rockingham County. If they've gotten more than 5 hits, they've won every single game. I think that's just the key to this. They've just got to get a few hits together, have something that's not a catastrophically bad game. I don't know if we consider 4 hits. I think that's catastrophically bad in terms of what McMichael softball is capable of. If they can just get a few hits strung together, I think they've got it in the bag to make a deep run.
If the other team only has 1, it's not.
That's fair.
How many times have I said it, Joe? It only takes one.
But
Well, they
to
haven't
your-
won a game when they've had under 5 hits. Under 5 hits, they're 0-4. Over 5
There you
hits,
go.
they're 19-0. So
there you go.
I-
Good point.
Lindsey Redmond could definitely throw a no-hitter. That's just obvious, but
Well, and we'll touch on this with Ava Grace Pruitt coming up here in just a bit, which I think we all would agree we've taken advantage of and not really realize what we're witnessing. But you can almost say the same for Lindsey in the fact that, she was one of the better hitters on the team throughout the whole year, but she's scorched she is the number one average on the team at 515. I mean, Lizzie Wilson held that forever. She has 8 home runs on the year. I mean, she has 4 triples and 6 doubles, 32 RBIs on 35 hits. That's the offensive numbers with the defensive numbers, and you start putting things together, and that's in the 4 spot. I like where this team is, and one thing I want to touch on before we move on to Rockingham County and take a closer look at what they bring to the table. For me, defensively is such a big thing in softball. Defense wins games. You can have Ava Grace Pruitt on the inside the circle and still lose if your defense isn't strong. You can have Lindsey Redmond inside the circle and still lose if your defense isn't strong. Up the middle for this team, I don't think you'll find much better defensively across the state than what you have with the Wilsons at short and at catcher, and then in center field. I just feel like this is a really good team defensively, and that will come into play in key situations, late innings, in big ball games. That's what as we switched to Rockingham County, that was the difference last year. You can talk about the pitching, you can talk about the hitting. Every time a defensive play needed to be made, it was made, whether it was Lily in center, whether it was Kennedy Kirby never making an error at first base, whether it was Zoe Sneed from her knees gunning down a hitter against Crest in the semifinals. Defense definitely matters in softball, and I think the defense for McMichael can stand tall in the 3A. That's my final thoughts on that. Let's switch to the 5A and take a look at the Rockingham County Cougars. They'll hold the 4 seed in the 5A on the east side. A first-round bye. They'll face the winner of number 13 Southern Guilford and 20 St. Paul's. Okay, let's make this pretty simple. I mean, it's very simple, right? I mean, it's if you got number 5 inside the circle.
yeah,
I mean,
that's about it.
is that all we have to say? I mean, good night, everybody. Have a good night. Take care. I mean, that's the bottom line. When you've got a team that is going to end up being what the Walkertown's the 7th seed, I believe. Is that correct? In the West? Yeah, the
7 seed.
And you sit them down 17 straight, 19 strikeouts in one game on senior night. What else is there to say? There's always going to be a chance to repeat with Ava Grace Pruitt inside the circle.
Absolutely. I said that at the beginning of this season to pretty much everybody I've talked to about it. As long as she's pitching and she's on, they've got a chance. Because that is really a case of it's only going to take one in a lot of cases. She is the one pitcher in this county that I would be comfortable sending out for an outing with a 1-run lead and having 100% confidence that I would pick up a win. And, having to replace 2/3 of their offense from last year, which was absolutely potent. That might have been the best situational hitting team at any level I've ever seen. And, they've had a lot of young ladies that have come in and they picked it up, and they've had to kind of figure it out as they went along. But they've learned how to win games. They've beaten some good teams down the stretch. They had
But the young players, they do
games.
seem confident. They don't seem like timid at all, which I'm glad.
Well, that's good coaching, and that's your upperclassmen really getting them to buy into the system and teaching them the ropes too. But this team's figured out ways to win. Candace is a great coach. You know, of course, she won the state championship last year. We know she's a great coach, and she comes out, wins the conference tournament championship. Basically the games that they lost this year, it was due to Ava Grace Pruitt being not 100% in a lot of cases. They lack some hitting here and there in those losses, but I think they're figuring it out. They're going to continue to figure it out. I'm curious to see how the young team, which they are a young team, despite having a senior leader in the circle, they are a young team, and I'm wanting to see how they respond to the pressure of a big game like that.
This is too a moment offensively where, and just position wise, where you're happy to have players that have been part of the championship program for some time to lead the young players. You've got Ava Grace Pruitt that's been in the situation. You've got Ella Brannick, who's leading the team in average, who was there last year on the team. You've got other members of this team that have been there in those situations to at least understand what they are when they creep up. And I think that's great for this young team. And like Jay said, every time you're at a game, they may be young, they may be not as experienced, but they're ready to ball. Like every time they're excited, they leave it out. They're not afraid of any situation. That's what you got to love about a team heading into the playoffs. And those are the teams that make upsets. Now, as the number 4 seed, you're not going to make many upsets until later on, but I mean, if it happens, we know this team has the pedigree to do it. And the improvement that they've made and the coaching that they have alongside them for situational softball, you got to love the combination. And I just think 0.83 ERA, 0.83 ERA, over 900 strikeouts now. Every county record you can think of, basically.
I think Steps in the comments is asking how many times I would get hit by a pitch, because Steps has asked some dumb questions before. That's a new level.
David says, if AGP pitched to Jay Ramey, how many hits would Jay get out of 10 pitches?
0.
None. Negative.
0.
-3.
He might pull that old stick the bat out and hope trick, and it might.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd even get the bat on the ball.
No, I'm not saying he'd put the bat on the ball. I'm saying he'd stick the bat out and hope it hit the.
Have you seen how many times players have attempted bunts this year and she's just pitched around it?
Oh yeah, she just
happens frequently. It would not.
I know
that would absolutely be my strategy if I stepped up in the box with her. I'd square around the bunt and hope for the best.
You know what my strategy would be?
What?
I'd step up, 5'6", get in the box, dig the cleats in, lift the bat, waggle just a little bit, and then walk back to the dugout and not even take the at-bat. There's no strategy. There's no – I mean, it's going to be fun to watch her at the next level, but we need to enjoy the moments that we get to watch of this postseason. And as we cover, remember to soak it all in. And this is for every senior that's out there, because we have so many good ones on the softball and baseball diamond, to remember, like Nick Rumley, UNC commit. We get to see the final starts that he's going to make. We get to see the final appearances, the seniors at the plate for Rockingham and McMichael, and we get to see these moments. We get to see the young players that are juniors and sophomores take a leap into that next season and give us a glimpse of what they can bring to the table next year. It's so awesome. The postseason is fantastic. Before we head out of here, I want to talk about the Moorhead Panthers softball squad. They will play as well tomorrow. They'll take on Fairmont at home. Jay, you're the only one that has covered them this year. I know that they've got some talented players.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't looked into Fairmont, but I think the 6-10 record doesn't really do justice to what the team actually is capable of doing. I've seen them a couple of times. They've looked pretty good. I think they could definitely win this game, especially considering the fact that they're the higher seed. I think the Central Davidson game is a different story, but look, they've got players with great stats. You look at Taylor Hopper batting .453. Aubrey Easley has put up good numbers. I know all the stats aren't entered on here, but Brooklyn Ray, she's batting .561 this season. 41 at bats, 23 hits, 18 runs batted in. We've seen a couple of different players in the circle do well, including Saley Ahern batting .366, but she's also doing well when it comes to being in the circle. And Wade does great at third. She's batting .450 this year. A bunch of different players can put hits on the board. I think if they get a few different players going, they've got a chance to get the win, especially considering it's a home game. They went 5-7 in a very tough conference, 4-4 at home this year. I think they'll pull it off. I would be shocked if they didn't.
Brooklyn Ray leads the Mid-State Conference in average with that .561 mark, 23 hits and 41 at-bats, 18 RBIs and 23 hits, 10 doubles, 3 home runs. So of her 23 hits, 13 are extra base hits.
Well, I mean, they're a pretty solid team from what I've seen and heard. And it hadn't been much this season, unfortunately. But they had the unfortunate circumstance of having to play in the Mid-State Conference with Rockingham County, McMichael, and Walkertown. That's basically you come as a team from outside of this conference and you're playing. Let's just say you set up a matchup with every team in this conference. You go up against those 3, you might want to go ahead and pencil in 6 losses.
And Moorhead's above a 500 team when they're not playing against those teams, which, maybe it's unfair to just throw out the 3 best teams that they've played, but 6-10 is not their real record.
It's your softball and baseball playoff preview here on the local Diamond, RoCo Radio, RoCoRadio.com. We'll be at the Diamond for our contest and that we have throughout next week or this week, Friday, and we'll be Tuesday at the Moorheads baseball game against Washington. So make sure you tune in and listen in at RoCoRadio.com and on Facebook, Substack, as well as YouTube. Before we step out of the box, David Stepp says, I would pull a hamstring on the way to the box. That way, it didn't look like I chickened out. Smart move. Smart man.
I wouldn't be in the situation to begin with. Like, who even... I don't know what
sometimes,
chain of
Jay,
events would have to lead to that.
Sometimes life puts you in situations you can't control. And when it does, you act like you pulled a hamstring. That's what you do. That's life.
So you pull LeBron.
That's what all the people say.
Go Pistons, beat the Cavs. That's all I got to say.
Go Spurs.
Who are they? Number 2 seed or something?
We didn't almost lose a playoff series to an 8 seed. How about that?
And still would have lost if Franz Wagner didn't get hurt. If he didn't get hurt, we probably would still be losing.
When the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets the other day, I said the Spurs have punched their ticket to the conference finals. That's what I said. We're going all the way, man.
And with that, we're the local Diamond, throwing a jab and punching our way out of this live stream. We'll see you on the baseball field. Stay tuned. Find out where we will be on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Radio Rockingham. Peace.